Hi, everybody. My name is Jeff, and today I've got a really exciting video for you. We have got our hands a few days early, I might add, on the new Hue Bridge Pro. The Hue Bridge Pro is the long-awaited replacement for the Hue Bridge version 2 that's been around for almost 10 years now. I've been a long-time Hue fanatic, going all the way back to 2012 when I purchased my first kit from the Apple Store. And I actually have really racked up a lot of lights. We've got about 75 lights and about 16 different controllers. And this has caused some really big problems with the Hue environment because the Hue Bridge can only handle 50 devices. So I've been really excited to try out the Hue Bridge Pro and see if it solves this problem. Today, we're going to do an unboxing on the Hue Bridge Pro, as well as the older Hue Bridge version 2, do a direct comparison between the two, see what the updates and the differences are, and really get into the advantages of the new version. Before we get into that, I'd like to just make a shout out to our sponsors, HueLock. HueLock is actually a device I invented because of frustration from people coming over to my house and shutting off my light switches. So obviously, if you've had a Hue device in the past, you've probably experienced this. Friends, neighbors, relatives, they come over to your house, they shut off the lights, and then your Hue lights stop working. So I invented a product called HueLock that solves that problem, and we'll get more into it at the end of the video. So to start off today, we're going to go ahead and unbox the Hue Bridge Pro, and then we're going to unbox the Hue Bridge version 2 and compare the two and see what the differences are. So starting with the Hue Bridge Pro, we have the new Hue Bridge, which comes in a very nice paper wrapping. And then we have the accessories for the Hue Bridge. This is going to include the power adapter. Now, one thing that's really nice is the power adapter is now USB-C. And that means you should be able to use whatever USB-C charger can output that much power. You're also going to get an Ethernet cable. You're going to get the power block for whatever country you're in, and some paperwork. Going back to the Hue Bridge version 2, very different packaging. In this version, we're going to get the Hue Bridge, and then inside this box, there is an Ethernet cable. It's not nearly as nice an Ethernet cable as the new one. They've really changed that up. And then your power brick, and the old power brick was actually a barrel connection. So it was proprietary, not as universal. So I'm really liking the fact that they went to USB-C. And then your adapter for your country, which comes in a box that's almost always impossible to open. So here it is right there. So that is the difference in physical aspects between what you get in the box. When you look at the Hue Bridge itself, this is the new Hue Bridge Pro, and then this is the Hue Bridge version 2. So as you can see, physically, they're essentially exactly the same size in both depth and width, and they look very similar. They have sort of modernized the version now where the button has been changed a bit. The lighting has changed as well. On the older version, there are 3 lights across the top. On the new version, there's 2. The back is essentially exactly identical. And then the other thing that you'll notice is instead of the barrel connection, you've got the USB-C. The big update with the new one, though, is that the new one has Wi-Fi, and the new one has much, much better specs. So let's get into the specs. Okay, so I want to talk about the differences in specs between the original Hue Bridge version 2 and the Hue Bridge Pro. And some of these specs are just drastically different. I think the thing that's going to matter to most people is the fact that the old version could connect to about 50 lights and somewhere between 10 and 15 accessories, whereas the new version can actually connect to 150 lights and 25 to 50 accessories. So that's a big, big upgrade. And how did they get that upgrade? Well, when you look at the specs, you'll see that they are drastically different. So when I look at the processor speed on the old version is 600 megahertz single core processor. And now we've gone to a 1.7 gigahertz quad core processor. That's night and day. More incredible than that is we went from 256 meg of RAM to 8 gig of RAM. Additionally, we went from only Ethernet connection to Ethernet and Wi-Fi. So there is a lot of difference going on under the hood, and this is going to allow for a lot of new features and options. Some of them are really, really, really exciting, and we'll get into them here in a minute. So those are basically the spec differences and the physical differences between the Hue Bridge version 2 and the Hue Bridge Pro. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and try to set up the new Hue Bridge Pro with the app. And one of the things I pointed out before that I really like is that they've switched to the USB-C standard. And this allows me to actually run the bridge right off of an Anker battery pack. So that's a really neat feature. So I'm going to go into the Bridge app, and I am going to click on Bridges, and I am going to scan the QR code on the back. And it looks like that's not going to work. And I think maybe that's because this is a new device and it hasn't been released yet. So I'm actually going to try no QR code and see what happens. Search. I'm going to search for a bridge, and it found it. Okay, so I'm going to press the button. It's going to connect. I hit next. LED is solid white. Yes. Okay, so it's giving me a bit of a glitch, and I think this might be because the device hasn't been released yet. So we're going to close out of that. I'm going to reopen, and there it is, my Hue Bridge Pro. So what I notice now is that when I go into my bridges, all I have is my Hue Bridge Pro. There's nothing else. Let me go to home. Oh, so it's created a new home, I guess. So here's my current home with my 2 bridges that I have now. And then it's created a new home for the Hue Bridge Pro. So I don't really know why it's done that. I have a feeling it's because the Bridge Pro and the old bridges don't precisely work together. I'm going to play around with this. I'm going to see if I can find what it takes to transition everything over. And I'm going to hopefully shoot a couple more videos in the near future going over the details. Anyway, I really want to thank you guys for joining me. I hope you are as excited about the new Hue Bridge Pro as I am. And just a quick shout out to our sponsors, Hue Lock, which is, again, a device that I invented to keep people's pesky fingers off of my light switches. We'll have a small video about that here in just a minute. Anyway, thanks a lot. Have a great day. Are you tired of friends, neighbors, and relatives sabotaging your smart home? Pesky fingers keep flipping off your light switches and killing your Hue lights? Don't let your lighting system go dark. With Hue Lock, your switches stay on, your lights stay smart, and your sanity stays intact. Hue Lock, because smart homes deserve smart protection.